Welcome to Beyond Six Figures, the podcast that helps business coaches to micro-niche, get noticed, and become fully booked. Learn from top industry leaders who've successfully taken their businesses and their lives beyond six figures. Get ready to level up your coaching business and make this world a better place, one business at a time. And now, here's your host, Ziv Raviv.
Hello and welcome to Beyond Six Figures. Our guest today is Jerri, a Master Certified Coach and the founder of International Coaching Week. Jerri coaches top real estate agents and entrepreneurs to grow quickly and strategically while building lives they love. And she's also the author of Beyond the Sale and its companion guide for managers. We're diving into her proven real-world systems today for client acquisitions, retention, and scaling a referral-driven business. Hello, Jerri. How are you? Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Hi. I'm great.
It is always exciting for me to connect with the worker, someone that has been in the trenches and has been helping other business owners and growing their businesses. And you've been helping a lot of real estate business owners, even wrote a book on the topic, and you have your expertise in helping people with their sales specifically. I'm excited to connect with you. Tell us a little bit about what was your journey? What's your origin story, if you will?
An origin story. Well, I come from a family of entrepreneurs. And whenever I've had a regular job that didn't work out, my father would say, well, of course, you don't ever want to work for anybody. Nobody in our family has ever worked for anybody. So I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. And then I actually have a master's degree in public health because I always wanted to help people. So I worked in community health services for about 10 years, helping people, delivering community health services in a small town near Boston. I helped write grants for people to get money when there was a lot of money in the old days for health services. So I would fly around the country for about a year, helping people write grants for urban and rural health centers all over the place. Laredo, Texas, and places in Mississippi and in South Dakota. It was really fun. So I did that for a while. And then I was working for a company that did workshops and put on a lot of trainings having to do with goal setting, manifestation, and meditation. And I did that. And I also became a real estate broker after that. So I've had sort of a crazy patchwork of steps, but they all kind of led me to coaching. So I was doing coaching, helping people grow their businesses, get clear about what they wanted, and figure out how to get there. In all the work that I've done in the past, basically, because I'm very goal-oriented. And I also feel like people can use the power of their consciousness by visualizing and getting clear about what they want, to use the power of their consciousness to grow their businesses and to get what they want. So I think that's really kind of critical to how I approach things. So that's sort of an origin story. And now I've settled on coaching mostly people who are starting businesses or are in career transition. And one of my new tagline is I help successful real estate agents and other professionals figure out what's next and how to get there. Because that seems to be the through line for most of my clients. They're at a crossroads and they need support to help figure out, what do I want to do next? Or to give them permission to leave a situation that wasn't working for them. They need permission because they can't give it to them on their own for some reason. So I help them figure out. And then I hold their hand if necessary and ask a lot of questions. As you know, as a coach, we ask a lot of questions.
So tell me more about your point of view for real estate agents. What are of the options they have in front of them that you help them kind of make the decisions, but they are in a crossroad that sometimes it's the same crossroad for many of them that are in the same situation.
Well, some of them now are at the crossroads of should they exit the profession or not? And I met with people to talk about what their options are exiting the profession. But some of them say, like I worked with someone about 20 years ago, and she said, I have 5 more years, I'm going to do this. And now 15 years later, she's still working because it's very seductive. They make a lot of my clients make a lot of money and they're kind of addicted to the adrenaline, to the excitement. But I had someone recently who was part of a team, and the team leader made this person feel like she could never do it on her own. But she really was committed. There was no reason for her to stay with the team leader who was elderly and kind of old-fashioned in her marketing. And the client that I was working with was brilliant, strategic, and great at personal relationships. So she did end up leaving the team and brought on a partner who was a family member, and she's flying. She's doing so well. But it just took inner determination for her to say, okay, I'm really going to do this, because the team leader kept trying to hold her back. I just talked to someone who was on a team, who was working on her own in a large company and loved the manager. But there were she said 600 agents in the agency or in the office. And I later turned out there were only 300. But whether there's 600 or 300, it's really hard to get the attention of the manager. And she had seduced herself that this was a good reason to stay with this company, this agency, this office, because even though there were a number of other offices that were much closer to her home. So I don't know. We discussed this and I don't know whether she hasn't followed up with me. So I don't know whether she's left or not, but I try to instigate trouble, sometimes by looking at the picture from a wider perspective. People get so myopic and they think oh yeah, this is the only place I could be. Or somebody said recently, I really wanted to try being on a team. And finally and my manager said, don't do it, but I decided to do it anyway. And so after 1.5 years, she finally left the team. And I hadn't been working with her for quite a while. And I called her up to see how she was doing. And she said, I'm finally left the team. And of course, she's making more money. The team did nothing for her. It was a luxury team, but it was a family business. So of course, the team leader would give the leads to his daughter rather than to someone else. So then I said, well, next time you're planning to make a change, please call me. Because I'm happy I've never used the good trouble's an American expression having to do with the civil rights movement. So I don't know if I've never used it before and I don't feel comfortable appropriating it, but it's I'm happy to instigate things. If I see that it might be helpful for you to make a change. So those are the kinds of things. Otherwise, I've had clients who are just stuck and they can't really get any information from their partner. They don't want to confront their partner and ask questions. So I help them figure out what's the best way to get the information so that they can figure out whether they should leave or go on their own or join another team. So usually they have to do with the team or the manager, or else they're just stuck and they need to re-energize their marketing. And sometimes they're very resistant to doing that. That's all I'll say. But
so let's talk a little bit about how the book came to be. In your book, you actually help real estate agents re-envision their marketing plan, and that the promise that is being made with your book is quite a substantial one for many business owners, but especially real estate agents, because they really do want more leads and more sales. It's something that is very common. What made you decide to write the book?
Well, I always wanted to write a book, and I never had a topic. So I have a friend who's he's now the manager of a huge, very, very successful office in Back Bay, which is luxury properties in Boston. And I was living in Boston. I knew him from when I was living in Boston and coaching some of his agents. So I just figured he would be great at the marketing piece of marketing the book. And I'm a writer, so I would do most of the writing. So we would meet every Sunday morning, at 9 o'clock my time, 11 o'clock his time, and we would go over the book. And the book is really a workbook for people. It's people in professions, self-employed professions. It would work for a financial planner or an attorney or anybody else. And my philosophy is that you should do what you love, use your skills, embrace your values, and figure out what your strengths are. So the beginning of the book, we ask people to take what I love, which is the Strengths Finder, which is by Rath. There's a couple of versions of it, and to figure out what your strengths are. Because if you're doing something, let's say you have attention deficit disorder or ADHD, and you're all over the place. And the best jobs for people who have ADHD are things like emergency medical technicians or journalists or things that have short deadlines where the adrenaline kicks in and they're really good at, they don't have to be super organized because they're really good on the fly. And I have a close friend of mine who's an accountant, and she procrastinates all year. And then and she has ADHD, and when it's tax time, then she kind of works all night and gets stuff done. But she's always been complaining for 30 years that she has too much work. So that's probably not the right profession for someone who has to be very organized and plan ahead to be an accountant. But if you're organized and you're great at connection, those would be strengths that would come up in the Strengths Finder. My theory is that the people who are great at real estate are really naturally good at schmoozing, connecting with people they don't know. They go to a restaurant, they start commenting on the outfit of the person at the next table. It's not great for personal one-on-one necessarily relationships that they're connecting with all the other people in the restaurant, but it really does help you when you want to become known in real estate. So you do a lot of self-inquiry in the book, and then you look at where your business has come from in the past, and you look at what you love to do, and you come up with a marketing plan and also a personal life plan that incorporates your strengths, what's worked in the past that works. And then we have a lot of secrets of top agents, like how they stay in touch with their clients, how they provide exceptional service, how they delegate, et cetera. Because if you can't delegate and you're running around and you're great at meeting people, but you're not so great at follow-up. If you have somebody that's on your team that can remind you to do follow-up, or you have what's called a transaction manager that follows the whole flow of the transaction, you're more likely to be really successful. So the book, again, is a workbook. And at the end of the book, if you do all the exercises, you come up with a life plan and also a business plan for the next year. So we include goals like I want to go to Paris, or I want to have a second home on the beach, or I want to whatever. I want to learn French.
Yeah. I want to focus for a second about the topic of referral generation.
Referral.
Yes, referrals. You talk a lot about it in your book as well. And I find referrals marketing to be fascinating for many types of businesses, including business coaching. A lot of times, referrals are strategic. And of course, with real estate agents, that is one very efficient way to grow. It's very organic. It feels right. It's the best leads that a business can get because they get a warm referral. But what are some things that business owners can do to get even more referrals or referral juice from their clients?
Well, one thing is to develop referral partners, people who have clients in the same demographic, in the same financial situation. Like a good source would be financial planners, would be trusts and estates attorneys, would be mortgage brokers, et cetera. And also the best source of referrals are past clients. So I suggest that people come up with a referral strategy where they take someone out to lunch like the first Wednesday of every month. They develop a lunch program or a coffee program where they thank the referral sources and they take them out to lunch. And then during all the holidays, they send I was talking to someone about sending pumpkins, for example, for Halloween, which we celebrate obviously in the US, or sending holiday cards and gifts, and calling people, staying in touch with your past clients and saying, I just finished selling. I moved up into the ultra high end luxury market and I just sold a house for $2 million or $1 million. And like, who do you know that I should contact that's planning to buy or sell in the next 3 to 6 months? That's like a really key question. So I think during COVID, I took a class by a woman from Yale where I have my master's degree, Lori Santos, and it was a course on Coursera, which is a fabulous platform. And it was a free course called something like Secrets of Well-Being or Secrets of Happiness. And I took the course and took notes, and then I would give talks at real estate agencies on how the findings of the Secrets of Well-Being can help you grow your business. And the main secrets of happiness are social connection, gratitude, and giving back. Those are the three that are most important for business owners. Giving back, staying connected, and gratitude. So staying connected, especially during COVID, I was suggesting that people call all their clients and drop stuff off. If you have an elderly woman who's living alone that you sold a house to, or as a friend or something, you would drop. You couldn't go in, obviously, in those days. But I think they still apply post-COVID. Staying in touch with people is really important. And I think when it's somebody's birthday, sending a text is like the lowest bar, the least amount of effort. It shows absolutely nothing. It's like, or going on Facebook and it's like, it's my birthday and they say, happy birthday, Jerri, with an emoji. The best way is to call someone on their birthday or send them a birthday card. I love sending cards out because it takes some effort. You have to get stamps, you have to get cards, you have to go to the mail something. And it means a lot because people don't even get bills anymore. They get everything online. So if you send someone a gift, even if it's just on Amazon, but sending a personal card, I think is like really a great way to stay in contact and people will remember you. Also sending newsletters, snail mail, with your business card, with a market update that you've actually put together. And I have a client who's, has an MBA, very smart. And so he synthesizes the news about what's going on with the market from the past quarter. And he sends a personalized newsletter. It's not just something from Sotheby's or Coldwell Banker or any of the agencies. And I send personalized newsletters as well. I do send e-blasts, but I try to have them be valuable, not just like I need a few more clients or whatever. But there's nothing wrong with calling people and asking for business.
So there's so many good advice here that I love. I want to ask you about when you do ask for a referral. You mentioned one of the principles is to show gratitude, right? And I wonder, a lot of times this dilemma is raised. Like if I'm going to go to one of my past clients and ask for a referral, do I actually need to give them something in return? Do I need to bribe them? Do I need to give them some sort of an affiliate fee of sorts? Or maybe not. What's your point of view?
Well, in the U.S., at least in Massachusetts where I'm licensed, you can't give money. If you're a licensed broker, then I can give you a referral fee, which is known widely in the community. But if you say, my sister's moving to Massachusetts, well, I could certainly send you a gift, a thank you gift. And even if the referral doesn't go anywhere because she's not moving or she decided to use someone else, it's still fine to send a gift. I'm not talking about, $500 gift card. I'm talking about, and I'm not talking about a $10 Starbucks card, but something in between. And when I've gotten referrals, I've given referrals to professional organizers. And the few times I get something back, I remember it, like a basket of gardening, a mug and a gardening stuff, because I used to garden or whatever. I always remember when people remember me because it's not that frequent. So I think it's not a bribe, it's an acknowledgement. It's a thank you, but I would never do it up front. unless it was a real estate referral, in which case you have to be really clear. If you're licensed, you can get referrals, which I am, but you can't give referrals to the doorman of a building, which people do, or the superintendent of a building who knows about all these people moving. You can't give them like a 25% referral, but you could certainly take them out to dinner or do something like that. Nominal. But as a coach, when I get referrals, I thank people. But I'm kind of a secret weapon. I don't know if you are as a coach to your clients, but if I'm helping my client, and I have 3 other people potentially in that agency, in that office, they don't tell each other that they're working with me. And I don't discuss my clients because of the confidentiality. I would never broadcast I'm working with Susie Q at Sotheby's in Arizona or something. You just don't do that.
My experience about referrals is that 1 out of 10 clients or so will actually bring you clients directly. They'll do it because they're happy. And I personally choose to show them my gratitude with a refund. So I refund some money
Oh, nice.
Back to them. They get excited about it. They look forward to the refund because it's a significant, chunky refund, for example, like a $500 refund, makes them feel like, oh, wow, like I did something good and they like it.
Do you tell them ahead of time that if you bring a referral, you'll get a refund, or you just do it afterwards?
I actually tell them ahead of time, but I do it in a way where I don't make a fuss about that. So I make it sure that they know I'm asking for the referrals because of our relationship, because I really like working with you. And I think people that are like you.
Okay.
That will not be competitors of yours, but they're the type of people that could benefit just like you did. And it's okay if you don't have anyone, but if you do and they turn out to be a good match with me, you will actually get a nice kickback. I try to put that as something secondary and not that important. And once in a while,
we don't use the word kickback.
Yeah.
But anyway, a cultural thing, I think.
Yeah. But once in a while, I will get a client that is a mega referral type of a client. And they are just, it's a type of a personality to be well connected.
Yes.
And once you have a client that is a connector, that they just know a lot of people and they're being respected for their opinion and so on, then I actually have a conversation with them about the referral. And I try to form a relationship with them with recurring referrals, with like an actual monthly recurring fee.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that they actually have it's not a kickback, right? But it's a
commission.
It's a commission of sorts. Where they might get the commission last for a very long time.
Yeah.
And for the type of people that are connectors, that they know a lot of people, they really appreciate that type of relationship. But not always. Some of my clients actually decided to ask me to not get any referral because they are going to recommend me to their family members.
Yeah.
And they have a very big family and they don't want the commission.
They don't want a financial, Well, I've worked with attorneys who've sent me business, and I just think because of some of the professionals and the code of ethics that they're not allowed to do stuff. Like attorneys don't give commissions when they get business. So no, I think those are great ideas though. And I'll mention one thing that I learned that I thought was really interesting since my book says, where does your business come from? And if you actually do the exercises and does it come from referrals, from whom, open houses, signs, Facebook, whatever. I went back from all my clients since a really long time. And I could remember and I keep track of where they come from. And most of mine were from referrals or from me giving talks at real estate agencies. So it's people spend all this time on social media and when there are people who are famous, obviously on Instagram or on Facebook or TikTok. But for me, it's better to just call people and to do talks on topics of value to the agents than for me to worry about TikTok and doing all this stuff. So just think it's interesting. Yeah.
I completely agree with you. I think it's busy work to do TikTok or social media and be obsessed with it. Mm-hmm. And if you love doing it, that's great. If you really enjoy video editing and coming up with that, is fine. That's a skill that is valuable. But the good old relationship-based type of things, when you actually show up in person and they see you and they hear from you and they learn from you, or the connection of a relationship where you ask for a referral, those things are always going to be useful. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I once had a chiropractor and I had referred my partner's 2 kids, my stepkids, to him. And then he sent me movie tickets or something. It was nice, but it was odd. It was odd because he was a chiropractor and it was like, okay, I could have just gotten the thank you without. I remembered it because it was odd. But it was fine.
It is fine. You know what? I agree that some gifts or commissions of sorts, they can be odd. Sometimes all you need to do is just say thank you.
Yeah, and the personal notes are great. Personal. I had a doctor recently who I had to go to the ER and he was fabulous. And I wrote him a personal note, handwritten on letterhead on my stationery. I didn't send him an email. I put it in the mail because I'm sure it meant a lot to him just because I said, thank you so much for your kindness and et cetera. So that goes back to gratitude and personal connection.
Well, what a wonderful point in the interview to wrap up. We should bring you back for another talk, Jerri. There's so many topics that we can geek out on. I want to thank you for taking the moment to connect with us and to share some of your ideas. Where can people go to learn from your book and to connect with you, Jerri?
Okay. It's easier to go under JerriUdelson.com, but it's also under entrepreneurialcoaching.com. And they could just Google me. I'm all over the place. The name of the book is Beyond the Sale for Real Estate Agents. So you can go via that way too.
And we'll put the links to all of that in our show notes. Jerri Udelson, thank you so much.
And thank you.
And thank you everyone for listening for another episode of Beyond Six Figures.
Thanks for listening to Beyond Six Figures. Check out the extended show notes that include bonus material, practical tips, and exclusive resources on our website, zivraviv.com. Until next time, keep dreaming big and pushing your business and your life beyond six figures.